Christmas Story by Wisdom Gold. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The snow swirled around Rudolph, his bright red nose casting a lonely glow against the darkening sky. The other reindeer snickered and jostled him, their hooves kicking up icy spray. "Look at Rudolph," they jeer. "His nose is so bright, it's almost blinding." Rudolph longed to join the reindeer games, to leap and bound through the snow with the rest of the herd. But his glowing nose made him an outcast. He felt like a misfit, different from everyone else. One blustery Christmas Eve, a thick fog descended upon the North Pole, blanketing the sky and obscuring the ground. The other reindeer, their eyes squinting against the swirling white, were unable to navigate the treacherous terrain. Santa Claus, his sleigh laden with gifts, was growing anxious. The children of the world were waiting, and the fog threatened to delay his journey. Desperate, Santa Claus called for any reindeer who could lead the way. One by one, the other reindeer tried, but the fog was too thick. They stumbled and slid, unable to see where they were going. Finally, Santa Claus turned to Rudolph. "Rudolph," he said, his voice filled with hope, "can you see through this fog?" Rudolph, hesitant at first, stepped forward. His nose, so often a source of ridicule, now shone with a brilliant light, cutting through the swirling mist like a beacon. With Rudolph leading the way, the sleigh navigated the fog with ease, his glowing nose illuminating the path. The other reindeer, humbled and amazed, followed closely behind. They had underestimated Rudolph, dismissing his unique ability. Now they saw the true value of his difference. Santa Claus, overjoyed, delivered all the gifts on time. As he returned to the North Pole, he thanked Rudolph profusely. "You saved Christmas, Rudolph," he declared. "Your special nose is a gift, not a curse." From that day forward, Rudolph was no longer an outcast. The other reindeer, realizing their mistake, welcomed him with open arms. They had learned that differences, rather than being weaknesses, could be strengths. Rudolph, once ridiculed, became a hero, a symbol of courage and the importance of embracing individuality. This story teaches us that our differences, often seen as flaws or obstacles, can be our greatest strengths. Just like Rudolph, we may feel like outsiders or misfits because we don't fit the mold. But it is precisely these unique qualities that make us special and valuable. Embracing our individuality rather than trying to conform allows us to shine in unexpected ways and contribute to the world in unique and meaningful ways. The story of Rudolph reminds us to celebrate our differences, to recognize the value of diversity, and to appreciate the unique gifts that each of us brings to the world. Christmas Story by Wisdom Gold. The Polar Express. The Polar Express, a marvel of engineering, chugged through the snowy landscapes, its engine a symphony of rhythmic clanking. Inside, a young elf named Pip, wide-eyed and brimming with excitement, gazed out the window. He was tasked with delivering a special gift to a lonely child in a remote village, a gift that held the magic of Christmas itself. Pip, however, was distracted. He yearned for the thrill of adventure, the kind you saw in the old, faded maps adorning the walls of the workshop. He dreamt of faraway lands, of jungles teeming with exotic creatures and mountains that scraped the clouds. The thought of delivering a single gift, no matter how magical, seemed mundane compared to the grand expeditions of his heroes. As the train journeyed on, Pip grew increasingly restless. He fidgeted with his gift, a small, intricately carved wooden toy, its surface shimmering with an ethereal glow. He longed to explore the train, to climb the towering smokestack, to peek into the engineer's cabin. He even considered hopping off the train at the next stop, a tiny village nestled amongst the pines, and striking out on his own. His restlessness didn't go unnoticed. Old Hemlock, the wise and weathered conductor, observed Pip with a knowing smile. Hemlock had seen countless young elves succumb to the allure of adventure, their youthful enthusiasm leading them astray. He decided to intervene. "Young Pip," Hemlock said, his voice a gentle rumble, "tell me, what do you see out there?" Pip, startled, pointed towards the window. "Snow, Hemlock. Just snow." Hemlock chuckled. "Look closer, Pip. Look beyond the snow." Pip squinted, his eyes adjusting to the swirling flakes. He saw more than just snow. He saw a family of foxes darting across the tracks, their fur blending seamlessly with the white landscape. He saw a lone wolf howling at the moon, its mournful cry echoing through the frosty air. He saw the intricate patterns the wind carved into the snow-covered trees, a delicate dance of nature's artistry. Hemlock smiled. "The world is full of wonder, Pip. You just need to open your eyes and see it." Pip, captivated, began to truly observe the scenery. He noticed the subtle shifts in the colors of the snow, the way the sunlight filtered through the branches of the trees, creating a magical interplay of light and shadow. He saw the resilience of the trees, their branches laden with snow yet standing tall against the fierce winds. As the train approached the village, Pip felt a sense of calm descend upon him. He realized that adventure wasn't always about grand expeditions and faraway lands. It could be found in the everyday, in the quiet moments of observation, in the appreciation of the beauty that surrounded him. He delivered the gift to the child, a young girl named Lily, who lived alone in a small cottage on the edge of the village. Lily's eyes widened in awe as she unwrapped the toy, her laughter filling the room with warmth. Pip watched her play, a smile spreading across his face. He had found his own magic in that moment, the magic of bringing joy to another. As the Polar Express pulled away from the village, Pip stood at the window, a newfound appreciation for the world around him. He realized that the true magic of Christmas wasn't about grand adventures or exotic destinations. It was about finding wonder in the everyday, about appreciating the beauty of the present moment, and about bringing joy to those around you. The journey back to the North Pole seemed shorter, filled with a sense of contentment that Pip had never experienced before. He had learned that the greatest adventures were not always the most dramatic, but the ones that opened his eyes to the magic that existed all around him. This story highlights that true magic and adventure can be found in the everyday. Often, we seek excitement in distant lands or grand quests, overlooking the wonders that exist right before our eyes. By cultivating an attitude of observation and appreciation, we can find magic in the simplest of things, the beauty of nature, the joy of giving, the kindness of others. The true spirit of Christmas, and indeed life itself, lies in finding wonder in the present moment and cherishing the connections we share with the world around us. Christmas Story by Wisdom Gold. Cutie and His Hidden Kindness. The snow crunched beneath Cutie's hooves as he pranced through the snowy forest. He was the youngest reindeer in Santa's herd, a mischievous sprite with a mischievous glint in his eyes. While his brothers and sisters diligently practiced their flying formations, Cutie preferred to chase the wind, his laughter echoing through the trees. One crisp December morning, as Santa prepared his sleigh for the big night, a commotion erupted. "Cutie!" boomed Santa's voice, his eyes twinkling with a mixture of amusement and concern. "What in the world have you done?" Cutie, his head bowed, stood before Santa, a mischievous grin playing on his lips. He had been playing a game of hide-and-seek with Rudolph, the lead reindeer, and in his enthusiasm, had accidentally tangled Rudolph's antlers in a particularly stubborn branch. Santa, despite his initial sternness, couldn't help but chuckle. "Cutie, you rascal. You know how important Rudolph is to our Christmas Eve flight." Cutie, feeling a pang of guilt, mumbled an apology. "I'm sorry, Santa. I didn't mean to cause trouble." Santa, seeing the genuine remorse in Cutie's eyes, softened. "Accidents happen, Cutie, but we need to get Rudolph free before the night is over." With a determined glint in his eye, Cutie set to work. He nudged and pulled, his small frame surprisingly strong. Finally, with a triumphant snort, he freed Rudolph's antlers. Rudolph, rubbing his head, thanked Cutie profusely. "Thank you, Cutie. You saved Christmas." Cutie, beaming with pride, realized that his mischievous nature wasn't all bad. He could use his energy and enthusiasm for good. That Christmas Eve, as the sleigh soared through the starry sky, Cutie flew beside Rudolph, his heart filled with joy. He discovered that helping others brought him a happiness far greater than any prank ever could. From that day on, Cutie continued to be mischievous, but his mischief always had a touch of kindness. He helped the younger reindeer learn to fly. He assisted the older reindeer with their heavy loads, and he always had a playful joke to share. And so Christmas Eve after Christmas Eve, Cutie, the once naughty reindeer, became known not just for his mischievous spirit, but for his kind heart and the unexpected joy he brought to everyone. This story teaches us that even those with mischievous tendencies can possess a hidden kindness within. Cutie, despite his playful pranks, ultimately used his energy and enthusiasm for good, demonstrating that our actions, even when seemingly negative, can have positive outcomes. It highlights the importance of recognizing the good in everyone, including ourselves, and finding ways to channel our unique qualities into acts of kindness and helpfulness. Story by Wisdom Gold, The Grumpy Elf and the Forgotten Star. In the bustling workshop of Santa Claus, amidst the joyful chaos of toy-making and festive cheer, lived Barnaby. Barnaby, a seasoned elf with a perpetually furrowed brow, was known for his grumbling and his disdain for all things festive. He preferred the quiet hum of his workbench to the boisterous laughter of his fellow elves. "Nonsense," he'd scoff, watching the elves decorate the workshop with twinkling lights and mistletoe. "All this frivolity is a distraction. We should be focusing on our work, not on some silly holiday." One blustery Christmas Eve, as Santa prepared for his grand journey, a commotion erupted. "The star!" cried Mrs. Claus, her eyes wide with alarm. "The star that guides Santa's sleigh! It's gone missing." Panic spread through the workshop. Without the star, Santa would be lost in the vast expanse of the night sky. The elves searched high and low, but the star was nowhere to be found. Barnaby, observing the frantic search from his workbench, remained unfazed. "Typical," he muttered. "All this fuss over a celestial object. It's probably fallen into one of your overflowing toy sacks." As the clock ticked closer to midnight, despair began to set in. Santa, his usual jovial demeanor replaced by a look of concern, paced anxiously. "Without the star," he sighed, "Christmas will be lost." Just then, Barnaby, observing the gloom that settled over the workshop, felt a pang of regret. Perhaps his cynicism had been misplaced. Perhaps there was more to this frivolity than he had initially believed. An idea sparked in his mind. "Perhaps," he suggested, his voice surprisingly gentle, "we're not looking in the right place." Santa, intrigued, looked at Barnaby, surprised by his uncharacteristic suggestion. "What do you mean, Barnaby?" "We're searching for a star," Barnaby explained, "but perhaps we're missing the true light within ourselves." Santa pondered Barnaby's words. The true light within themselves? He looked at the elves, their faces etched with worry. They were all searching for the star, but had they forgotten the light of kindness, the warmth of friendship, the joy of giving that shone within each of them? With a newfound sense of purpose, Santa and the elves gathered together. They held hands, closed their eyes, and focused on the warmth of their hearts, the kindness they shared, the joy they brought to others. Suddenly, a soft glow began to emanate from within them, growing brighter and brighter until it filled the workshop with a radiant light. And there, suspended in the center of the room, shimmering with an ethereal glow, was the star, restored to its full glory. Tears welled up in Santa's eyes. "Barnaby," he said, his voice filled with gratitude, "you've shown me that the true light, the true God, lies within us all." Barnaby, surprised by the unexpected praise, felt a warmth spread through him, a warmth he hadn't felt in years. He realized that the true magic of Christmas wasn't about stars or presents, but about the light of kindness, the warmth of friendship, and the joy that shone within each and every heart. This story teaches us several important lessons about Christmas and life in general. The true meaning of Christmas. It's not just about receiving presents, but about the spirit of giving, kindness, and spreading joy to others. Finding light within. The true light that guides us lies within ourselves, in our kindness, our compassion, and our ability to bring joy to others. The importance of perspective. Barnaby's initial cynicism blinded him to the true meaning of Christmas. Changing his perspective allowed him to see the true magic of the season. The power of unity. When we come together, united in purpose and sharing our inner light, we can achieve amazing things. The value of every individual. Even those who seem grumpy or cynical can possess valuable wisdom and contribute to the greater good. The story of Barnaby and the Forgotten Star reminds us that the true magic of Christmas lies within us all, in the light of kindness, the warmth of friendship, and the joy we bring to the world. Christmas Story by Wisdom Gold, The Elf Who Found Christmas. In the snowy village of Kringle Hollow, tucked away at the North Pole, Santa's workshop bustled with activity as Christmas Eve drew near. The elves worked tirelessly, crafting toys and wrapping gifts, their laughter and chatter filling the air. Among them was Finn, a young elf with a knack for mischief and curiosity. Unlike his fellow elves, Finn often found himself questioning things others took for granted. Was Christmas really? He asked one day as he struggled to hammer a wooden train into shape. Christmas is about making toys for children, replied Clara, the workshop's eldest elf, with a warm but tired smile. It's about delivering joy, chimed in another elf. But why do we do all this? Finn pressed. Is it just about toys? The other elves shook their heads and returned to their tasks, too busy to entertain Finn's questions. But Finn couldn't shake the feeling that Christmas had to mean something more. That evening, Finn decided he would find out for himself. As the workshop lights dimmed and the other elves drifted off to sleep, he slipped away to Santa's study. He had heard stories about the Book of Christmas, a mysterious tome said to contain the secrets of Christmas itself. The study was quiet and filled with the faint scent of peppermint. On a grand wooden desk sat the Book of Christmas, its cover glowing faintly with golden light. Finn hesitated, then opened it carefully. The pages shimmered with moving images and words that seemed to whisper as he read. The book showed him scenes of children waking up on Christmas morning, their faces alight with wonder as they unwrapped gifts. It showed families gathered around crackling fireplaces, sharing stories and laughter. It showed acts of kindness, a stranger offering food to the hungry, a child giving away a cherished toy to a friend in need. But as Finn watched, a soft, solemn voice emerged from the book. Christmas is not only in the giving of gifts, it said. It is in the love, the kindness, and the magic shared by all. It is a reminder that even the smallest acts can bring the greatest joy. Finn closed the book, his heart brimming with a new understanding. He realized that the toys and gifts they made in the workshop were just one part of something much bigger. Christmas was about connection, generosity, and the magic that came from sharing love. Finn returned to his bunk that night, feeling a little wiser. But as he lay there, a new idea struck him. If Christmas was about sharing love and kindness, maybe he could do more than just make toys. Maybe he could help others feel the true magic of Christmas. The next morning, Finn began his plan. While the other elves worked on toys, Finn gathered small scraps of ribbon, bits of wrapping paper, and tiny trinkets left over from the workshop. With nimble fingers, he crafted miniature ornaments and placed them secretly in the dormitory of each elf. When the elves returned from work, they were surprised to find the ornaments hanging from their bunks, each one unique and glittering in the soft light. "Who did this?" Clara asked, holding up a tiny star Finn had made from silver thread. Finn stepped forward, his cheeks turning as red as a holly berry. "I just thought, maybe we could use a little Christmas magic too," he said shyly. The elves were touched by Finn's gesture. For weeks, they had been so focused on their work that they had forgotten to celebrate the season themselves. Finn's small act of kindness reminded them that Christmas wasn't just about making toys. It was about sharing joy with one another too. The days that followed were different in the workshop. The elves worked with renewed energy, singing carols and sharing stories as they crafted gifts. And when Christmas Eve finally arrived, the air was filled with excitement, not just for the children who would receive the presents, but for the sense of togetherness they felt as a team. That night, as Santa prepared to leave with his sleigh, he called Finn over. "I've heard about what you've done, Finn," Santa said, his twinkling eyes filled with pride. "You reminded us all what Christmas truly means. Would you like to join me on the sleigh tonight?" Finn's eyes widened. "Me? Really?" Santa laughed. "Yes, you. After all, Christmas is about spreading joy, and I think you're quite good at that." Finn climbed into the sleigh, his heart pounding with excitement. As they soared through the starry sky, he watched Santa deliver gifts, stopping not just at houses, but at places where kindness was needed most. A lonely widow received a warm blanket and a letter from an old friend. A struggling family found their pantry mysteriously full. By the time they returned to Kringle Hollow, Finn felt he had truly seen the heart of Christmas. The story of Finn, the curious elf, teaches us that Christmas isn't just about giving gifts. It's about the love, kindness, and thoughtfulness behind them. It reminds us that even the smallest acts of generosity can have a profound impact, creating ripples of joy that reach far beyond what we can see. Like Finn, we can all contribute to the magic of Christmas by thinking beyond material gifts and focusing on the connections we build, the kindness we share, and the moments of love we create. In doing so, we discover that the true spirit of Christmas is something we carry in our hearts, not just during the holidays, but all year long. Story by Wisdom Gold, The Old Clockmaker and the Snowflakes. The old clockmaker, Silas, lived a solitary life in a small cottage nestled at the edge of a whispering forest. Winter, with its icy breath, had descended upon the land, transforming the vibrant hues of autumn into a stark, monochromatic canvas. Snow, a silent artist, had draped the world in a pristine white blanket, muffling the sounds of the bustling town below. Silas, however, found solace in his workshop, a cozy haven filled with the rhythmic ticking of countless clocks. Each clock, a testament to his meticulous craftsmanship, whispered tales of time's relentless march. But as the days grew shorter and the nights longer, a melancholic silence crept into Silas' heart. He missed the laughter of children, the vibrant hues of summer, and the warmth of human connection. One snowy evening, as Silas meticulously repaired a delicate grandfather clock, a tiny snowflake, caught in the draft, drifted through the open window. It landed softly on his workbench, shimmering like a diamond. Silas, captivated by its intricate beauty, examined it closely. He marveled at its delicate structure, the intricate patterns etched upon its surface, a masterpiece of nature's artistry. As he observed the snowflake, a profound realization dawned upon him. Each snowflake, unique in its own way, was a fleeting moment of beauty, a reminder of the ephemeral nature of existence. Just like the snowflakes, our lives, too, are fleeting, a delicate dance of moments, each precious and irreplaceable. Inspired by this realization, Silas decided to share his newfound wisdom with the children of the town. He invited them to his workshop, promising to show them something truly magical. The children, their eyes wide with anticipation, eagerly accepted his invitation. On the appointed day, the workshop was transformed into a winter wonderland. Silas, with his twinkling eyes and a mischievous grin, had crafted a miniature village out of snow, complete with tiny houses, a miniature church, and a miniature forest. He then instructed the children to each create their own unique snowflake ornament using colorful paper and glitter. As the children, their fingers nimble and imaginations soaring, immersed themselves in their creations, Silas told them stories of the snowflakes, of their journey from the heavens, of their fleeting beauty, and of the preciousness of each moment. He emphasized the importance of cherishing the present, of embracing the uniqueness of each individual, and of finding joy in the simple things in life. When the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the snow-covered landscape, Silas, with the help of the children, lit up the miniature village with tiny lanterns. The scene was enchanting, a magical tableau of twinkling lights and shimmering snowflakes. As the children, their faces beaming with delight, prepared to leave, Silas, with a twinkle in his eye, whispered a secret to each of them. "Look for the magic in every snowflake, dear children," he said. "For in each one, you will find a reflection of your own unique beauty and the preciousness of life itself." The children, their hearts filled with warmth and wonder, left the workshop, carrying with them the memory of the magical evening and the profound wisdom imparted by the old clockmaker. The story of Silas and the snowflakes teaches us several valuable lessons. The ephemeral nature of existence. Just like snowflakes, our lives are fleeting and precious. We must cherish each moment, embrace the present, and make the most of our time on Earth. Finding beauty in simplicity. The intricate beauty of a snowflake, a simple creation of nature, reminds us to appreciate the beauty in everyday things. the small joys and fleeting moments that often go unnoticed. The uniqueness of each individual. Each snowflake is unique, a testament to the diversity and wonder of nature. Similarly, each human being is unique and special, possessing their own unique talents, perspectives, and contributions to the world. The importance of connection. Silas, through his interaction with the children, found solace and joy in sharing his wisdom and connecting with others. Human connection is essential for our well-being and happiness. Finding magic in everyday life. This story highlights the importance of cultivating a sense of wonder and finding magic in the everyday. By embracing the simple joys and appreciating the beauty around us, we can enrich our lives and find happiness in the present moment. The story of Silas and the snowflakes serves as a gentle reminder to embrace the beauty of life, cherish each moment, and find joy in the simple things. It encouraged us to embrace our uniqueness, connect with others, and cultivate a sense of wonder and appreciation for the world around us. Christmas story by Wisdom Gold, The Snowmaker's Gift. In a small, snow-laden village nestled between towering mountains, there lived an old man named Ellard, known as the Snowmaker. The villagers believed Ellard had magical powers over the snow, for no matter the season, his small house at the edge of the forest always had a glistening frost on its roof. Ellard had a curious workshop filled with peculiar tools, crystal vials of frozen dew, featherlight brushes, and a wheel that spun ice threads finer than silk. Few dared to visit him, for whispers of mystery and magic always followed his name. Yet, every winter, the snowmaker would leave his house at dusk, his knapsack bulging with what seemed like shimmering clouds. By morning, the village would awaken to breathtaking scenes, ice-covered trees glinting like diamonds, perfect snowflakes carpeting the streets, and frozen streams transformed into sparkling ribbons. Children adored Ellard's handiwork, but their parents had always warned them, never disturb the snowmaker. His gifts are his own to give, and he keeps secrets best left alone. But one winter, something unusual happened. The snow didn't come. Days turned to weeks, and the skies remained cold yet empty. The frost never kissed the windows, the rivers didn't freeze, and the mountains stood bare, their peaks exposed like raw stone. The villagers grew restless, murmuring about failed crops and dry wells that would follow without the winter's water. Among them was a young girl named Leela. She was a spirited child, known for her golden hair that glimmered like sunlight even in the dimmest of days. Lila loved the snow more than anyone else in the village. She had spent countless winters building castles and skating on frozen ponds. The absence of snow this year made her heart ache. One evening, Lila decided she would visit the snowmaker. She wasn't afraid of his mysterious ways. She was determined to find out why winter had abandoned them. Carrying a lantern, Lila trudged through the forest to Ellard's house. She found him sitting outside, wrapped in a cloak, staring up at the starless sky. His face, etched with lines of time, held an unusual sadness. Why hasn't the snow come? Lila asked boldly, stepping closer. Ellard sighed. The snow is not mine to summon this year, child. It belongs to those who have forgotten its true purpose. Lila tilted her head, confused. What do you mean? Snow is snow. It's for playing, for keeping us warm in the spring with melted streams. The old man chuckled faintly, though his eyes remained heavy. Snow is more than that, little one. It's a reminder, a gift of silence, of stillness, of time to reflect and prepare. The world has grown too noisy, too hurried. Even your village rushes through life, never stopping to notice the beauty around them. If people cannot appreciate the quiet gifts, then the snow cannot fall. Lila's brows furrowed. She hadn't thought of snow that way. But what can we do? She asked. We can't just make the snow fall by appreciating it. Ellard leaned forward. There is something you can do. Tonight, I will give you a single snowflake. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small frosted jar. Inside was a single perfect snowflake, glowing faintly with an inner light. Take this to your village. Place it where everyone can see. It will remind them of what they've forgotten. Lila took the jar carefully, the cold of it biting through her gloves. But what if they don't notice? Then the snow will not return, Ellard said simply. but I have faith in you." Lila hurried back to the village, her breath forming clouds in the icy air. She placed the jar in the center of the village square, where the lamplight could catch the glimmering snowflake. Then she waited. At first, no one seemed to notice. The villagers passed by, busy with their chores, grumbling about the lack of snow. Lila's heart sank, but then a child stopped. A boy about her age, with wide eyes, pointed to the jar. "Look!" he cried. "It's a snowflake!" The boy's shout drew others, and soon a small crowd gathered around the jar. They stared at the snowflake, marveling at its delicate beauty. Some whispered about how they had never really looked at snowflakes before, how they had always taken them for granted. One by one, the villagers began to talk not just about the missing snow, but about their lives, their worries, and their joys. They lingered in the square longer than they had in years, sharing stories and laughter. For the first time, they noticed the Christmas of the air, the stillness of the night, and the soft glow of the lanterns. By dawn, something magical happened. The sky, once empty, began to fill with clouds. The first flakes drifted down, soft as whispers. The villagers cheered, dancing in the snow as it fell faster and thicker, blanketing the ground in white. Lila smiled as she watched, knowing the snowmaker had been right. Sometimes, the simplest things like a single snowflake could remind people of what truly mattered. That night, when she returned the empty jar to Ellard, he greeted her with a warm smile. "You did well, child. Remember, the snow will always come for those who take the time to notice its beauty." From that winter on, the village never took snow for granted. And though Ellard's magical touch still graced their winters, they knew the real magic lay in their hearts, in the way they slowed down to appreciate the world around them. The story of the snowmaker's gift teaches us the importance of mindfulness and gratitude. In our busy lives, we often overlook the beauty and significance of small, simple moments. Like the snow, these moments are fleeting yet profound, offering us a chance to pause, reflect, and connect with one another. When we take the time to appreciate life's quiet gifts, we find joy, community, and a sense of peace that enriches our lives. Let this winter be a reminder to slow down, to see the beauty in what surrounds us, and to cherish the small, magical moments that make life meaningful. Wisdom story by Wisdom Gold, The Wise Elf and the Lost Toy. In the bustling workshop of Santa Claus, amidst the clatter of hammers and the joyful laughter of elves, there lived a young elf named Pip. Pip was known for his boundless energy and his mischievous grin, but he also possessed a wisdom beyond his years. One Christmas Eve, as the final touches were being put on the toys, a frantic cry echoed through the workshop. "Oh, dear Santa," cried Mrs. Claus, her eyes wide with worry. "Little Timmy's train set is missing. It's nowhere to be found." Santa's brow furrowed in concern. "The train set?" he repeated, his voice echoing through the workshop. "That was Timmy's most prized possession. We can't let him down on Christmas morning." The elves scrambled in search of the missing train, but to no avail. It had vanished without a trace. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, a wave of despair washed over the workshop. Just then, Pip stepped forward, his face solemn. "Santa," he said, his voice steady, "perhaps we're looking in the wrong place." Santa looked at Pip, surprised by his calm demeanor. "What do you mean, Pip?" he asked. "We're searching for the train," Pip explained. "But what if we're missing something else?" Santa and the elves exchanged puzzled glances. What else could there be? Santa asked. "The joy," Pip replied. "The joy of giving? The magic of Christmas? The spirit that makes Timmy's eyes light up when he sees his train?" Santa paused, his mind racing. Pip was right. They were so focused on finding the train that they had forgotten the true meaning of Christmas. "You're a wise little elf, Pip," Santa said, a smile gracing his lips. "You've reminded us of what truly matters." With renewed determination, Santa and the elves set out to spread the Christmas spirit. They visited every child in the workshop, sharing stories, singing carols, and reminding them of the joy of giving and the magic of Christmas. As they returned to the workshop, a faint jingle could be heard. There, tucked away behind a stack of toys, was Timmy's train set, its bright colors gleaming in the soft light. Sana's heart swelled with gratitude. Pip's wisdom had not only found the lost train, but had also reminded them of the true meaning of Christmas. The story of Pip and the lost train teaches us several valuable lessons about Christmas and life in general. The true meaning of Christmas, it's not just about receiving presents, but about the spirit of giving, kindness, and spreading joy to others. The importance of remembering. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to forget the true meaning of things. It's important to pause, reflect, and remember what truly matters. The value of wisdom. Pip's wisdom, though young, was profound. It reminded Santa and the elves of the true meaning of Christmas and helped them find the lost train. The power of kindness. Spreading kindness and joy, even in small ways, can bring light and warmth to others. The magic of Christmas. The magic of Christmas lies not in the presents, but in the spirit of giving, the joy of sharing, and the belief in something wonderful. The story of Pip and the lost train serves as a reminder that the true magic of Christmas lies in the spirit of giving, the power of kindness, and the importance of remembering what truly matters. Christmas story by Wisdom Gold, Santa and the Lonely Christmas. It was Christmas Eve in the bustling city of Maplewood. Snow blanketed the streets, lights twinkled in every window, and the air buzzed with the excitement of the season. But in a modest little house at the end of Cranberry Lane, a boy named Ben sat alone. Ben was 8 years old, with messy brown hair and bright eyes that seemed dull this Christmas. His parents had been called away for an emergency work trip, leaving Ben at home with a sitter. But when the sitter canceled last minute, Ben had insisted he'd be fine on his own. "I'm not a baby," he'd said, trying to be brave. Now, as the clock ticked closer to midnight, the emptiness of the house seemed louder than ever. The Christmas tree stood in the corner, its lights glowing softly, but the sight only made Ben feel lonelier. Ben missed the chaos of Christmas past his parents laughing, the smell of cinnamon cookies baking, the excitement of opening presents together. "Christmas doesn't feel the same without family," he mumbled, hugging his knees on the couch. As he stared out the frosted window, a sudden flash of light caught his eye. Something or someone was on the roof. Ben's heart raced. Could it be? He whispered, scrambling to the window for a better look. Sure enough, a sleigh was parked on the rooftop, its silver runners glinting in the moonlight. 8 reindeer stamped their hooves impatiently, their breath forming little puffs of steam. And there, climbing down the chimney, was Santa Claus himself. Ben's mouth fell open. He didn't believe in Santa anymore, or at least, he thought he didn't. But here he was, larger than life, with a red suit, a fluffy white beard, and his sack brimming with gifts. Santa landed softly in the fireplace and dusted off his coat. He seemed surprised to find Ben sitting there, wide-eyed. Well, well, Santa said, his voice warm and booming. "Looks like I've got company tonight." Ben blinked, unsure if he was dreaming. "Santa? Is it really you?" Santa chuckled. "The one and only. Shouldn't you be asleep, young man?" Ben shrugged, his shoulders slumping. "I guess. But it's hard to sleep when you're alone on Christmas Eve." Santa's eyes softened. "Alone, you say? That's not how Christmas should be." Ben nodded. "My parents aren't here, and it doesn't feel like Christmas without them." Santa stroked his beard thoughtfully. "Christmas isn't just about who's around, lad. It's about the magic you make with what you have. Let me show you something." Santa reached into his sack and pulled out a shimmering snow globe. Inside was a tiny version of Ben's house, complete with the glowing Christmas tree and snowy front yard. Santa gave it a gentle shake, and the scene came to life. Ben watched in awe as the miniature version of himself appeared in the globe, decorating cookies, hanging ornaments, and even dancing to Christmas music. "That's me," Ben whispered. "But I didn't do any of that." "Not yet," Santa said with a wink. "The magic of Christmas comes from what you create, not what you wait for. You've got the power to make this night special, even on your own." Ben thought about it. Maybe Santa was right. Maybe he could bring Christmas to life, even if he was alone. What should I do? Ben asked. Santa smiled. "Start with what makes your heart feel full. Christmas magic follows when you lead with love and joy." With that, Sana tipped his hat, hoisted his sack, and climbed back up the chimney. Ben ran to the window and watched as the sleigh soared into the night sky, disappearing among the stars. Inspired by Sana's words, Ben got to work. He turned on the Christmas music his parents always played, filling the house with familiar, cheerful melodies. He found a box of cookie dough in the fridge and baked it, decorating the cookies with icing and sprinkles. Then, he gathered scraps of paper and markers to write little thank you notes for his parents, leaving them under the tree. As he worked, Ben felt the loneliness melt away, replaced by a growing sense of joy. The house wasn't silent anymore, it was alive with Christmas spirit. Later that night, Ben curled up on the couch with a plate of cookies and a glass of milk. He didn't feel so alone anymore. When morning came, his parents burst through the door, their arms full of gifts and their faces full of apologies. "We're so sorry we couldn't be here last night," his mom said, hugging him tightly. Ben grinned. "It's okay, I had the best Christmas ever." His parents looked around the house in amazement. The music, the cookies, the decorated tree was all perfect. "Did you do all this by yourself?" his dad asked. "Not by myself," Ben said with a twinkle in his eye. "Santa helped me." His parents laughed, thinking it was just a story. But Ben knew better. This story reminds us that Christmas magic isn't found in the presence of others or the perfection of plans. It's created by the love, joy, and effort we bring into the moment. Even when circumstances are ideal, we can find ways to make the season special by focusing on gratitude and creativity. Like Ben, we all have the power to transform our experience of Christmas and life by embracing the magic within ourselves. Sometimes, it's not about waiting for the perfect situation, but making the best of what we have. The night Santa forgot, the snow fell softly, blanketing the world in a pristine white hush. In his workshop at the North Pole, Santa Claus, his beard dusted with snowflakes, meticulously checked his list. Every child, from the smallest elf to the tallest teenager, was accounted for. Toys were wrapped, sleigh bells were polished, and Rudolph's nose gleamed with anticipation. But as the clock struck midnight, a strange feeling washed over Santa, a feeling of forgetfulness. He couldn't quite place it, but something crucial seemed to be slipping from his grasp. He patted his pockets, checked his belt, even peered into his overflowing sack. Nothing began to set in. "Reindeer!" he cried, his voice echoing through the workshop. "Dasher, Dancer, Prancer." The reindeer, startled by their master's unusual distress, bounded into the workshop. "What is it, Santa?" Dasher asked, his breath forming frosty clouds. I can't remember the most important thing," Santa exclaimed, pacing frantically. "The reason for all this, the joy, the reindeer exchanged worried glances. Never before had Santa seemed so lost. Suddenly, a small, hesitant voice piped up. It was Snowflake, the youngest reindeer, her eyes wide with concern. "Perhaps," she suggested timidly, "it's about the children, Santa, about bringing them happiness." Santa stopped pacing. Happiness? Of course. It was about bringing happiness to the children, filling their hearts with joy and wonder. He looked at the reindeer, his eyes twinkling. "You're right, Snowflake," he exclaimed. "It's about the magic of giving, the kindness in every heart, the belief in something wonderful." A wave of relief washed over him. He had forgotten the true meaning of Christmas, the spirit of generosity and love that lay at its heart. With renewed vigor, Santa prepared for his journey. He loaded his sleigh with extra bags of kindness and sprinkled a generous dose of laughter into the air. As he soared through the starlit sky, he remembered Snowflake's words. He focused not on delivering presents, but on spreading the magic of Christmas, the joy of giving, and the importance of believing in the goodness of others. He visited every child, not just leaving toys, but leaving behind a sprinkle of his newfound understanding. He whispered words of encouragement to those feeling lost, shared stories of kindness with those feeling lonely, and reminded everyone of the importance of believing in the magic of Christmas. By the time he returned to the North Pole, the workshop was filled with a warm, radiant glow. The reindeer, their eyes shining with a newfound understanding, greet him with enthusiastic cheers. Santa, his heart overflowing with warmth, realized that the most important gift he had given that night was not the toys, but the reminder of the true spirit of Christmas, the spirit of giving, kindness, and believing in the magic of the human heart. This story teaches us several important lessons about Christmas and life in general. The true meaning of Christmas. It's not just about receiving presents, but about the spirit of giving, kindness, and spreading joy to others. The importance of remembering. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to forget the true meaning of things. It's important to pause, reflect, and remember what truly matters. The power of belief, believing in something wonderful, whether it's the magic of Christmas or the goodness of humanity, can bring joy and hope into our lives. The value of kindness. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, can have a profound impact on others. The importance of listening to others. Snowflake, the youngest reindeer, offered a valuable insight that helped Santa rediscover his purpose. Listening to others, even the smallest voices, can bring valuable wisdom. Ultimately, the story reminds us that the true magic of Christmas lies in the spirit of giving, the power of kindness, and the importance of believing in the goodness of humanity.